Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the best features and important tips and tricks for your Huawei Nova 3i. As usual, I'll be covering the best features first and then I'll be talking about the tips and tricks. So if you're bored anywhere, just skip ahead. But make sure you check out the tips and tricks section for sure. Now with that said, the first best feature about this phone is definitely its display. This phone sports a 6.33-inch display with Full HD Plus resolution in the new 19.5:9 aspect ratio, and also comes with a display notch just like the iPhone X. Now just like all the previous Huawei phones, display on this phone is really good. It's massive for the size but still fits comfortably in the hand. Now the next best feature about this phone are the cameras. This phone sports a dual camera setup on the rear with a 16 megapixel primary camera with f2.2 aperture and a 2 megapixel secondary camera for depth sensing. It also has a dual camera setup on the front with a 24 megapixel front facing camera with f2.0 aperture and a 2 megapixel secondary camera for depth sensing. Specs aside, it does produce some great results. These are some sample pictures. Now the third best feature about this phone would be the portrait mode for the front and rear cameras. Nowadays a lot of phones offer dual camera setup and portrait mode, but this phone actually offers you a dual camera setup even on the front, and the edge detection offered by this phone is actually pretty good. These are some sample pictures. Now if you take a lot of portrait shots, you like the portrait mode, then this phone will take some great portrait shots for you. Now the next best feature is the wide aperture mode. On this phone it's just called as the aperture mode and you can select it by swiping right. Unlike other phones, on this phone, we can change the aperture and change the amount of blur effect you want before taking a picture, and even after taking a picture, you can change the focus point and even the amount of blur effect you want. Now in the portrait mode, if your phone doesn't recognize a face, it will take a normal shot. But let's say if you want to take a portrait shot of objects or non-living things, then you can use the aperture mode. Next, this phone has something called 3D lighting mode or simply studio lighting effect, where you can change the lighting effects to soft lighting, butterfly lighting, split lighting, stage lighting, and classic lighting. Now using all these lighting conditions, you can get different kinds of portrait shots, and this is more like a copy of a feature from iPhone X. It works, but right now it's not very accurate. Next, this phone has a dedicated AI mode for the front camera and the rear camera. Now using this AI mode, it automatically detects the scene and enhances the image to make it look better. So let's say you're having a waterfall, food, group photo, whether it's a flower or a dog. Depending upon the scene or the subject, it will enhance some details. Most of the time, images just look a bit saturated to make them look pleasing, but it's more about personal preference. So if you don't like super saturated colors and want a more natural look, you can simply disable AI mode before taking a picture, or even if you take a picture in AI mode, you can disable AI effect later. Now even for the front-facing camera, we have something called AI selfie. Once again, it detects things like skies, plant, flower, beach, and enhances few details to make your selfies look better. Once again, it makes colors look super popped out. If you don't like the effect, you can always disable it even after taking a picture. Now these were all the sample pictures taken with and without AI mode. Next we have slow motion video recording. Now this phone can record video in slow-mo at 120 fps and even at 480 fps, both at 720p resolution, which seems to be like a good thing, but the results aren't that impressive. Next we have AR lens. Now under this category we have 4 different features, but I'm just going to talk about 2 right now, and the first one is effects. Now using this particular feature, you can add different stickers to your face and simply spice it up. Next we have backgrounds, where we can change the background of a subject to something animated, once again to spice it up and make it look interesting. Next we have 3D objects. Now, as of now, we have very few 3D objects like a duck holding an umbrella or the duck trying to swim in a pool. So we can put these 3D objects anywhere we want and then take a picture or a video to make the scene look a bit more interesting. Now using this particular feature or any other AR lens feature will make your phone pretty hot and slows down things. Next we have 3D Qmoji. It's just like Animoji with just a Q in its name. We have all these different characters like a chameleon, fish, dog, cat, which mimic your facial expressions. Once again, you can record everything as video and share it on WhatsApp or Instagram. Next, we have a feature called HDR Pro, only for the front-facing camera. Now this feature controls exposure at hardware level to ensure precise balanced photography even in direct sunlight. It basically manages light in a better way and gives you better dynamic range. And unlike other phones, you also get a quick preview on the screen. Now the next best feature would be the premium design and build. Now this phone has the regular 2.5D curved glass on the back. We have been seeing it even in phones like Honor 9 Lite and the Honor 9 Pro, and the black color that I have right now also looks pretty ordinary. But the iris purple color simply looks amazing. It has this beautiful hue of colors on the back glass. Even the metal mid-frame looks pretty cool. Next we have party mode. Now the speaker on this phone is decently loud, but if you're really in a party or if you want a lot of sound and you don't have a dedicated speaker, you can pair up all the Huawei and Honor phones and play the same song from all the phones to get a more surround sound experience. It's a really cool feature. I wish all the phones support that. Next we have face unlock. Now like all the phones these days, even this phone comes with face unlock feature. Setting it up is pretty simple, and when it comes to actual performance, in good lighting conditions and even in very low lighting conditions, it works and it is pretty fast. So if you want to show off your new face unlock feature, you can definitely use it, but I would still recommend you to use the fingerprint scanner instead. Next we have raise to ear, which helps you make calls and receive calls pretty easily. You can make your phone do things like answering calls and making calls once you put your phone near your ear. It also has smart speaker, which simply turns on the speaker once you move your phone from your ear, and it also has smart Bluetooth headset. I would recommend you to check them out yourself. Next we have single key navigation. Now if you're bored with the regular 3-button navigation style of Android, this phone offers you single key navigation. Once you turn it on, you can see a single key at the bottom near the navigation bar. You can touch it to go back, touch and hold to go home. You can touch and swipe left or right for recent apps, and you can touch and swipe up for Google Assistant. Now this doesn't seem all that intuitive, but once you get used to it, you can actually use your phone single-handedly most of the time. Next we have app launch in battery settings. Now this is one particular feature that can improve your battery life drastically. By default, all the app launches are managed by your phone, but if you want, you can manage them yourself. From here, you can restrict unnecessary auto launch and restrict an application even from running in the background. To put it simply, it gives you a lot of control over the applications that are installed on your phone. Next we have high touch. Now once you enable this feature, you can simply long press on any image using 2 fingers, then Amazon Assistant kicks in, scans the product, and if it is able to recognize it, it will give you different links to buy that product on Amazon.in. Right now this feature is still in development and doesn't work all the time. Next we have an application called Scan. Now in the default camera application, there is a button on the top left corner of the screen with an eye symbol. Now once you click it up, it will open the Scan application where you get 2 options. One is for shopping and another one is to scan a QR code. Now in the shopping section, once you point your phone at any object, your phone tries to recognize it using Amazon Assistant and gives you product links for that on Amazon.in. Next we have moving picture mode. Now once you enable this mode and take a picture, your phone will record few seconds as video and you can watch it by simply long pressing that picture. It just allows you to capture a nice memory along with the picture. Next we have App Twin. Now this feature allows you to use 2 instances of the same application on the same phone. Let's say you have 2 WhatsApp numbers or 2 WhatsApp accounts and want to use them on the same phone. Using this feature, you can do it. Similarly, we can have 2 Facebook accounts, 2 WeChat accounts on the same phone. Next we have HISTEN sound enhancement. Now this phone doesn't come with any dedicated DAC or an amplifier, but comes with a software-based enhancement where you can change the type of headset you use for better audio experience. It even has equalizer settings to tweak the audio for your preference, and finally, it even has 3D audio settings to tweak the audio further. Next, we have a lot of fingerprint gestures. First one would be to take pictures using the fingerprint scanner. Now once you enable this toggle, in the stock camera application, we can take pictures and even start recording video just by touching the fingerprint scanner. Now unlike other phones, we need to touch and hold the fingerprint scanner to take a picture or start the video recording. Next, we can even pull down the notification bar using the fingerprint scanner. Now once you enable this toggle, you can swipe down on the fingerprint scanner to pull down the notification bar. You can swipe it up again to send back the notification bar. Now this might not seem like a huge feature, but once you get addicted, you will really miss it on other phones. Next, we can even browse photos using the fingerprint scanner. Now once you enable this feature, you can swipe on the fingerprint scanner left or right to change the pictures in the default gallery application. Now this feature might come in handy if you have to use your phone single-handedly. Now finally, we can even answer calls and stop alarms using the fingerprint scanner. Just by enabling these 2 toggles, we can do that. Once again, this feature might come in handy in some special situation. Next we have 3-finger screenshot. Now before I show you how to use that, let me show you how to take a normal screenshot. So to take a screenshot on your phone, simply press the volume down button and power button both at the same time. And once you do that, your phone will take a screenshot. For some reason, if it is a little hard for you, this phone even has a notification toggle to take a screenshot. Simply go to the notification area, swipe down and click on the screenshot toggle to take a screenshot. Now finally, if you want something more easy, we have the 3-finger screenshot. Once you enable this feature, you can simply swipe down using 3 fingers to take a screenshot. Next we have long screenshot. So for some reason, if you want to take a long screenshot, first take a regular screenshot and click the screenshot option to take a long screenshot. Next we have flip to mute. Once you enable this feature by enabling these 2 toggles, you can simply flip your phone to mute an incoming call or alarms or timers. Here's a quick preview. Next we have pick up to reduce volume. Once you enable these 2 toggles, every time you get a call or an alarm, once you pick up your phone, volume automatically reduces to make your phone less annoying. I find this feature really useful. Next we have pick up to wake. Now just like the name suggests, once you enable this feature, you can simply pick up your phone to wake it up. Now this feature might come in really handy if you like the face unlock feature. You simply have to raise your phone to wake it up, it'll scan your face and unlock the phone. Next we have ultra power saving mode. Now once you enable this feature, all the applications running in the background will be killed and you will be given access to only 6 applications. 3 of these applications are fixed and you can choose other 3 applications. Now except for these 6 applications, you can't do anything else on your phone. Now this feature limits your usage but greatly improves your battery life. By the way, in this mode, we can still use Wi-Fi and mobile data and stay connected to the internet and use apps like WhatsApp or Instagram and still have a good battery life. Next we have low resolution mode or the smart resolution. Now just like the name suggests, we can change the resolution of the screen to improve the battery life. Now we can do it automatically by selecting smart resolution, or you can manually change the resolution to Full HD Plus or HD Plus to further improve the battery life. Now this is one of those rare features we see on these phones. Next we have battery optimization. Usually many people complain about low battery life without knowing what's draining the battery on their phone, especially with our parents or elderly people. Now using this feature with just a single click of a button, we can make some changes to improve the battery life. By the way, it disables auto sync, so if you don't want that to happen, enable sync manually. I know this isn't a great feature, but it comes inbuilt and it's great for a very basic user. Next we have one-handed mode. If you think this phone has a huge display or a tall display, and if you want to use your phone single-handedly, this phone has 2 features to help you out. First, it has the mini screen view. Just enable this toggle and swipe left or right on the navigation bar to shrink the screen size. Click the blank area to enlarge it again. We can literally do anything and everything in this mode. Making calls, taking pictures, checking email, everything. Next we have shifting keyboard. Once you enable this feature, lock screen pattern, phone dialer, and even the keyboard shifts to one side to make it easy for you to use them. Next we have a screen recorder built into the phone. I don't know who uses it, but for some reason if you want to record your screen on your phone, then we can do it in 2 ways. First, we can use the notification toggle, or you can press the volume up and power button both at the same time to start recording the video. To stop video recording, you can press the stop button on the left side of the status bar. Once you're done, you can find the recorded video in your gallery application. Next, we have some voice control features. First one is quick calling. Once you enable this feature, when the display is on, simply press and hold the volume down button until you hear an alert tone and say the name of a contact that you want to call. And then your phone will make a call to that person if it can recognize the contact name. Most of the time, it didn't work for me. Maybe it has got something to do with the accent. Anyway, next we have voice broadcast incoming calls. Now once you enable this feature, every time you get a call, your phone will broadcast the caller ID or the caller's name. It's a nice feature, but only works if you're using a headset. Next we have scheduled power on and power off. I don't know who needs this or why, but if you want to automatically turn off your phone and turn it on automatically at a specific time, we can do it on this phone. We can also set it up to happen automatically on regular intervals on any day of the week. Next we have Huawei Share. This is just like Apple's AirDrop, but just for Huawei phones. Now once you enable this Huawei Share toggle on 2 Huawei phones, we can share files, links and any kind of data between them easily on Wi-Fi, just like Share It. Next we have navigation dot. Now once you enable this feature, you'll see a floating bubble on the screen and you can use that bubble to navigate throughout the phone. You can simply touch it to go back, touch and hold to go home. you can touch and hold and then swipe for recent apps. You can simply swipe the bubble to move it around. Now this is once again a super handy feature to use your phone single-handedly. This phone comes with an application called Phone Manager pre-installed, and it does a lot of things. For starters, we have something called networked apps where we can block internet access to all the applications. So we can manually select an application and block access to it over Wi-Fi and mobile data. For example, I just blocked internet access to Amazon. Next, we can also block calls and messages. We can list the contact details in this page. We can also choose to block all unknown numbers or all strangers that usually call over internet. We can also clear the RAM, do a virus scan, change permissions, and a lot more. Next we have eye comfort mode. On other phones it's called as the reading mode or the night mode, but on this phone it's just called eye comfort mode. We can access it from the notification toggles or the display settings. Once you enable it, it puts a warm tint on the screen to protect your eyes at night. We can also enable it automatically based on your time and even change the intensity of the warm tint. Next we have an app lock built into the system. Now just like the name suggests, it's an app lock and we can lock applications using this feature. To unlock a locked application, we can either enter the password or use the fingerprint scanner, which is really handy. Now here's a quick preview. Next we have a file safe built into the system. Now just like the name suggests, it's a place where you can hide files or protect files safely. You can set it up with a different password from your lock screen password and even have backup passwords just in case if you forget the password. Now once you set everything up, you can easily hide any type of file on your phone, whether it's an image, video or anything else. Next we have private space. Now just like the name suggests, it's like a private space on your phone. So you have all the things that you have already set it up right now, which is called as the owner space. And you have something called as private space. So if you're some secret agent like a James Bond who wants separate set of apps and separate set of contacts, then you can use this private space feature. Now to make this feature more usable or more convenient to switch between different spaces, you can set a particular fingerprint for the owner space and a particular fingerprint for the private space. So you can directly switch between these two spaces just by using a different fingerprint. Now for some reason, if all that didn't make any sense, just ignore that feature. It's pretty heavy and this phone doesn't have a lot of performance. So if you use that feature, your phone will slow down. So ignore it altogether. Next we have Game Suite. If you have updated your phone, you can find an application called Game Suite on your home screen. And once you open it up, this is how it looks. There isn't anything super fancy going on with it. We can simply add your list of games to it. From here you can select different power profiles like power saving mode or the smart mode, and even select uninterrupted mode. Every time you open a game, your selected power profile will be enabled and you won't be disturbed with any annoying calls or ringtones while you are playing game. Next we have ride mode. Now once you enable this feature, you just get two options, either to use a phone dialer or to send an SOS signal. Basically, this application restricts you from using your phone while driving. From settings, you also get additional options for auto answer by text, and even ride tracking. It's a nice feature, but I wish they could automate it. Just like once you start a ride, it automatically turns on the ride mode, and once you finish the ride, tracking stops. Next, we have Wi-Fi bridge. Unlike mobile hotspot, your phone will use the existing Wi-Fi connection and allow other devices to connect to your phone. Now, you might think you will never use this feature. Now let's say you're in a fancy hotel or an airport and you're given internet access only for one device. So in this situation, you can use this Wi-Fi bridge feature to share that single internet connection with other devices. Next, there are some more AI-based features which improve the battery life and performance, and there are a lot more stuff like themes, simple mode, SOS mode, and many more. I've just mentioned all the important stuff. So guys, those were the best features. Now let's look at some important tips and tricks. Now the first one is the split screen mode. Now you might have already been using split screen mode for a long time. You just need to open any application, press and hold the recent tabs button to open the current application in a split screen window in the top part of the screen, and you can select the secondary application from the list below. So let's say I've opened YouTube as a secondary application. Now we have this button at the center. Once you click it, you get two additional options. One is to close the current application and other one is to swap the first and second applications. So if I click this button over here, YouTube will go up and Google Play Store will come down. Now you can also swipe this button up and down to scale the current application. And once an application has been selected, you can press the cross button to close it. Now if you try to do the same thing with apps like Instagram, it simply doesn't work. So let's say I try to open Instagram. We'll get an error message saying this particular application doesn't support split screen mode. So if you want to fix that, there's a quick workaround for that. For that, go to settings Once you're in settings, scroll bottom, select system, select about phone, and now click the build number 7 times. Once you do that, developer options will be enabled. Now once the developer options are enabled, just select it from the system settings. Now from here, scroll all the way to the bottom. Just enable this toggle that says force activities to be resizable. Now just restart your phone and you should be able to use almost all the applications in the split screen mode. Next, I'll show you how to scale applications. Now by default, all the applications do not scale to this new 19.5:9 aspect ratio. So for some reason, if an application is not in full screen, you can manually make it go full screen from display settings. So for that, just go to settings, select display options. From here, select full screen display. Now once you're here, simply enable this toggle for any application that you want to use in a full screen mode. Now that's a super handy feature. Now this is your default home screen, and once you long press it, you get some additional options. So if you go to settings, you have all these tweaks. You can change the grid size from here. That's the number of rows and columns in your each home screen. Next we have auto align, which simply auto aligns the icons. Next we have shake. Once you enable it, you can simply shake your phone to auto align all the icons on your home screen. Now you also have Google Feed on the leftmost screen. If you don't like it, you can disable it from here. Just go to settings, then disable this toggle. Now Google Feed will be disabled. Now just like all the other Chinese phones, you don't get an app drawer on this phone, but we do get an option to enable it. So to enable an app drawer, just go to settings, then select display settings, then select home screen style. From here, select the second option. Now when you go to the home screen, you will see an app drawer. Now this is just like using a different launcher. So if you really want an app drawer which looks more like a stock Android, then I would suggest you to use the Nova launcher instead. Next we have some camera gestures. Now this is the camera application, and if you go to settings, we have all these gestures. First we have audio control. Now once you enable it, you can simply say cheese to take a picture. Cheese. So that's cheese. Next we have touch to capture. Now once you enable it, you can simply touch the preview window to take a picture. Next we have smile capture. So if someone in the frame smiles, then it will take a picture. So that's smile capture. Now finally we have gesture control. Now once you enable this toggle, you can simply show your palm like this to take a picture. So it is that simple. Now those were all the camera gestures. Next I'll show you how to enable auto call recording on your phone. So just open the phone dialer, just press these 3 buttons, go to settings, select automatic record calls. Now select this option, and from here you can choose to record all calls or listed contacts. Now usually I try to record all my incoming calls just for some accountability. So if you also like to do that, you can enable auto call recording. Now if you want to display the battery percentage on the status bar or enable or disable the notification LED light that's over here, you need to go to settings, then select notifications, then select apps and notification. From here select notification and status bar. Now from this page, if you want to disable the LED notification light, disable this toggle. If you want your display to turn on every time you get a notification, enable this toggle. If you want to display the battery percentage, select this option and select next to battery. Now once you do that, you can see the battery percentage beside the battery icon. Now we can also display the network usage on the status bar by enabling this toggle. So we really get a lot of customization options on this phone. Next I'll show you how to change the default application on this phone. Let's say you want to change your default browser, default home launcher, or default video player. Just go to settings, once again select apps and notification. From here select default apps. Now from this particular page, you can change your default launcher, default messaging application, default camera application, default gallery application, and so on. So basically if you want to change your default launcher, just come over here and select Nova launcher, and once you do that, every time you press the home button, Nova launcher will be triggered. Now this is my Nova launcher. Now if you want to go back to the default launcher, you can always do the same thing. Once you press home button, you go back to your default launcher. Now one of the highlighting features of this phone is definitely this display notch, which makes it look just like the iPhone 10. Now for some reason, if you don't like it and if you want to completely hide it, you can do it from the display settings. Just open settings, then select display settings, then select notch. From here you can select the second option to completely hide the notch. So that's a pretty handy way. Now the notch is always in black It's still there, but it simply doesn't stick out to your face. Now for the final tip, I'll show you how you can change the navigation buttons on this phone. So if you don't like the order of these navigation buttons, you can simply go to Settings, System, then select System Navigation. Now select Settings from the second option. Now from here you can change the order of these buttons and even add a new button to pull down the notification bar. So I've added a new button over here. Now once I click it, notification bar will be pulled down. Now this is definitely convenient, but I like to use the fingerprint gesture. I've already shown you in the best features section. We can simply swipe down on the fingerprint scanner to pull down the notification bar. And this is super addictive, especially with long phones like these. So guys, those were all the important tips and tricks that you need to know about your Huawei Nova 3i. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It really helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag ASKGREEDYTECH on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.